Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Someone says, what's the future? Vaughn Coleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Guys, it's your boy Vaughn Coleman. I am back with the first episode of Vaughn Coleman Presents in a long time. It's actually funny. I just thought of this now. The last episode I did was with Aaron Sparrow, who I ended up hanging out with at MegaCon. So this episode, it's almost like MegaCon is bringing the bridging the gap, because now we have Dani on. I want to start doing this show again. I really enjoyed it. Real quick, before we bring my guest, I do want to make a few announcements. So number one, I'm just solidifying it, but the final issues of Phenomenova issue 4, or sorry, not issue 4. I wish issue 3 are shipping out for the Kickstarter, and they will be shipped out. And then from there, we can go ahead and launch the campaign for Phenomenova issue 4. But so you can go ahead, and because of that, so I'm prioritizing the campaign copies, but issue 3 right here is available on my website. Obviously, you're not going to get the physical book before my backers. At least, I mean, if it's international, I have no control over that. But I'm not shipping them out before all the backers' books are shipped out. And those should be, they might even already be shipped out. I'm just waiting for my fulfillment guy. But you can get issue 3. And also, I do want to say there's just a handful left of these preview books on my site. And once those are gone, I'm going to be at a convention next weekend. So if you want those MegaCon preview books and you didn't get it at MegaCon, get it now. Get it now. Order it now before it's too late. I'll even sign them for you because I have them. The fulfillment center doesn't. And also, I do want to say I have, let me go ahead and actually throw you the link instead of just saying that. Boom. There you go. And then also Phenomenova issue 4, I am planning on launching on Monday. I'll be hosting a launch party here. So sign up if you haven't already. Even if you're like, I know I'm going to back anyway, it does help with the algorithm if you just take those 2 seconds to just sign up. It means a lot. And without further ado, enough about me. Let's go ahead and bring in our guest. Dani, how's it going?
It's going great. Hello. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah, it's been a minute, huh?
It's been a few hours.
Probably count the minutes, honestly, realistically.
We really could. Yeah, realistically.
So
that's my bad entirely.
No, it's okay. It was a nice surprise. It was a nice surprise. So we got everyone, you could check out her links down below. But before we get started, so obviously you have a channel, you have a decent following, and you also are now making a comic book. I guess first I want to start off by introduce yourself for those that don't know you. What is your channel? What do you talk about?
My name's Dani Soncasie. I have a channel called Comics and Everything here on YouTube. And I go live Wednesday through Friday talking about everything that's going on in our nerdy pop culture world, as well as breaking down our favorite comic characters, comic storylines, even TV shows, like our favorite sci-fi TV shows and stuff. And I do that while doing my makeup at the same time. A lot of the times I'm doing special effects makeup. That's just a secondary thing that I'm not even referencing. It's just a thing that I'm doing with my hands while I'm kind of telling this story. It's just 2 things that I love. I am a makeup artist as well. So I'm just combined the 2 things that I love so much and made it into this channel. And I've been doing that about 6 years now.
All right, that's awesome. Yeah, so I'm putting the link in the chat anyway for those of you that don't want to take the 2 seconds and scroll to the description. There you go. And yeah, that sounds really cool. And so now I want to ask you, so transitioning into that, what got you into comic books and specifically?
Oh, well, get ready for this. So I am disabled. I was born disabled, and I grew up in a hospital called Shriners for, back then, it was called For Crippled Children in the 80s and 90s. And there was no internet yet while I was there. So there was a local comic store that would donate comic books every week, and I would wheel on down there and grab a stack. Now, you told me this morning the first comic you got into was Batman Hush, was
Yes.
it? The first comic I remember grabbing was a Huntress comic, was Batman with Huntress.
Mm.
And it was just mind blowing to me. You know, this chick that was super cool. She was super smart, athletic. She could do all the things, and she was bound by nothing. And here I was, trapped in a hospital bed, a wheelchair, and constant pain, and it was at the whim of other people, and being able to transport myself through my imagination with this amazing artwork and storytelling really got me through an incredibly difficult time. And so it wasn't just the comic books, it was also TV. We had Star Trek every week and stuff like that. And it really did something for me. It became a comfort for me, and never lost it. A lot of people, I guess, who aren't fans like we are, they tend to grow out of that
Mhm.
thing. I never did. When I was raising my kids, it was very much a staple in our household. It was very much a part of how I raised them. So it was just something that was always a fixture in our lives. It just stayed with us.
That's great. It's raising them right. That's awesome. So you were reading, was that like, because I've read a couple Detective Comics issues. It was Chuck Dix and Graham Nolan did like a storyline where they team up. I'm wondering if that was it, or I assume it was post, because it wasn't an older book, right? Because it
It
was it a new
we're
book?
talking no, we're talking mid 80s.
Right, but I'm saying, was
Uh,
it like a back issue or was it like a new issue?
it was something that came out in the 80s. I
Okay,
was
so then that would have
very
been probably
young.
post crisis then, right? Post
Yeah, it
crisis.
was post-crisis. It was
Okay,
definitely
that's what I
post-crisis.
assumed.
And I wish I could remember specifically the issue
Oh,
that what it was.
oh, it wasn't Chuck
Um,
Dixon if it was 80s then.
no, it wasn't. It certainly wasn't. There's only flashes that I can remember. Unfortunately, my life was very much in upheaval at the time. Um, my mother had us moving around a lot, and I lost my things quite often. So I didn't get to hold on to it like I would have liked to. But I do have I just remember like the color palette. I mean, obviously it was dark
Mhm.
purple, blue, her kind of standing on the cover, in her hand on her hip, just looking so smooth with Batman kind of standing behind her. It was just so cool. It was definitely Helena. I know that much.
Well, they're both Helena Bertinelli, the Italian.
Right. Yeah.
See, 80s. I'm looking at
It
80s.
wasn't it wasn't where she was his daughter though.
Right. So that would have been, yeah,
Mhm.
that's Helena Wayne. That's there
It
too,
it
pre-crisis.
yeah, it wasn't that one. I see there's an Ashton in the chat.
Oh,
That
what's
is
up?
my oldest son's name.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
good name. Yeah, I think it's funny that both of ours featured Huntress because in Batman Hush, and I had never heard of Huntress. She wasn't a character I knew, and she wasn't in the animated series. She wasn't in anything. So I was like, who?
Mhm.
I was like, what? But I mean, she's got such a cool design.
She really does, and she's very much like Batman. She
Yeah,
doesn't have any of the superpowers or anything. She's just pissed off,
yeah,
and she's very athletic, and kind of like Batman, where she can push herself to the limits of human restraint. And I loved the idea of that. And for someone like myself who was, you know, have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
yeah.
Okay, where they flash back to Rocket Raccoon's
Past, yeah.
youth? Okay. basically my childhood, constantly being taken apart and put back together again in a room with 3 other kids. And that's how I was. I had a very unique disability that they had never seen before. They still don't even have a name for it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So they just tried the best they could. They're like, okay, let's try this. We're gonna break your bones and stretch them and see if that works. It didn't. Spoiler warning. But it was just guinea pig type experimentation just to try things, to try and give me this quality of life later. But it was constant pain, constant stress. I was 8, 9 years old, and here a comic book literally lands in my lap, and it's about a woman who has lost everything, and she's very angry. She's in a lot of emotional and mental pain, but she's able to push herself to the limits of human restraint. So I'd say between that and, this is going to blow your mind, but Dune, between that
Yeah.
and Dune, the litany of fear, that really helped young me kind of navigate those things and cope with what I was going through, because I was by myself. I did have 3 other roommates, but I'm in a children's hospital for years on end, barely seeing my family. My mom was hours away and always, well, I have to work. I have to work kind of thing. And there was also, oh, well, we're discharging your daughter. Can you come get her? Well, I have to work. So Batman was there for me. Helena Bertinelli was there for me.
Mhm.
And that's something you just don't let go of. So whenever I hear someone kind of, belittle comic books, I'm like, have you actually read a flippin' comic book, man?
Yeah.
Have you read one?
Well, I was told that there were also never strong female characters in comics.
Oh,
Yep.
I forgot about that. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Let me reframe. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So you're
I
making
wanted to
stuff
write.
up.
I know I'm making things up. Let me say that again. I wanted to write strong female characters because strong female characters in comic books never existed
Never exist.
before.
There's no evidence.
Yeah, no evidence. There we go.
Yeah, no, but
That's
it's
better.
I mean, they were kind of a similar thing for me. They really fiction is meant to like what I like about superheroes, because some people are like, oh, they're just goofy, they're whatever. Is I like that they kind of inspire the better in ourselves. Um,
Yes.
they're a great outlet. They're a really good
Yes.
outlet.
And they teach you that you can relate to anyone on planet Earth. They don't have to look like you.
No, they don't.
All you have to do is listen.
Yeah, I mean, even that lesson, like take it to manga, right? Like most of those characters are not don't look like me. They, they're or some of them do, but they're always like Japanese. I don't know why there were blonde, so many blonde characters in anime. I can't explain it
Because they
because
want to be blonde.
their names will be like Naruto, and it's like what? Why is all right? But anyway,
Yeah.
I just it's there's so much great stuff. And is she still one of your favorite characters, Huntress, or no?
I I haven't thought about her in so long. It's so weird. I need to revisit her. It's been a while. I need to visit her again. I miss Helena. But I do really like her. You know what? I need to write this down because I really should do a breakdown on Helena for the channel. I'm so glad we're doing this
I've
because
read Huntress year
silly me.
one. I've
Yeah.
read. I need to read. Correct me if I'm wrong. She doesn't appear until Gail Simone's Birds of Prey, right? She's not in the original, from what I've heard.
I don't I think you're right.
I think it
And
was just
I
Barbara and Black Canary in
Gail
the original.
follows me. I talked to Gail recently because I was like, hey, Gail, I'm writing a couple comic books. You got any, advice? And she's like what specifically? So I gave her some specifics and then she didn't get back. So I'm like, listen, Gail, get back to me. Okay, so do Huntress. I'm just gonna leave it like that because that sounds cool. Who wouldn't want to do Huntress?
Yeah, Huntress is great. What are your favorite Huntress comics then?
Oh my God, it's been so long since I sat. Listen, I'm going to be very honest with you. Um, the newer comics, and for me, anything in the last 20 years is newer comics.
Yeah.
And
You know, it's
they
funny. I'm
kind
kind of like that too. A lot of
and
my stuff.
they kind of the mainstream comics really fell off for me.
Mm-hmm.
Big time because they lost the plot. And that's something I've been talking about a lot on my channel. They really kind of lost the thread of what they are, what they were meant to be. And they brought in, I feel like Chuck Dixon kind of hit the nail on the head on Twitter not that long ago. He called them tourists. The newer comic writers, just tourists. Like you don't get to decide what canon is. You're just a tourist. And I was like, ah, get it, Chuck. But I'm just a bigger fan of the older comics. Like when
Mm-hmm.
Huntress first came out, um, those are kind of my jam because it's more of a nostalgia thing for me. Not just nostalgia, but gives me the warm fuzzies.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I totally get it. Yeah. I mean, the 80s was such an amazing, a lot of what I've read is the 80s. I mean, Frank Miller's 86 alone, that year was absolutely insane.
After
1986.
they did that reset after Crisis,
Yeah.
it was like they bought all those Charlton
Charleston. Yeah.
characters. They bought the Charlton. I'm doing a Captain Atom breakdown right now. I've been on a Charlton kick. What's up, buddy? Um, I did Question. I've done Blue Beetle, and now I'm doing Captain Atom. But they bought Charlton and they're like, okay, our timeline's super convoluted. We've been doing this for years and changing things and making things really messy, and we're kind of losing people. And we just bought this whole new stable of characters. Like, what do we do? I know, we'll do this big multiversal crisis and blow the hell out of everything and then start from scratch all over again. And when they did it, it was just freaking phenomenal. The Question got his run and it was amazing. Have you read that
No,
first
that's
Question? Oh
all right.
my gosh. It is so good. He is one of my favorite characters. He is so good.
No, I'll have to check that out. That's
Post
really cool.
Crisis, immediately post Crisis, DC is one of my favorite eras
Yeah,
of
I want to
comics.
dive more into. I've been into Marvel a lot lately, and then I haven't been giving myself time to read. I know I need to. I want to go through because I'm going through what's currently pre-crisis, and then I know it bleeds into post-crisis. Is New Teen Titans. Um,
Yeah, I've got a few
I've
of
re-
those still.
yeah, I've read like sparse, a lot of Batman that's post-crisis, but I really want to do a deep dive into Batman specifically. But yeah, no, I mean there's always so much to read, and that's one of the main things where it's like you're competing against the past in a lot of ways. Um, but it's also I found one of the problems I had when I was first getting into comics is they were like I was like, oh, all the media I'm based on is based on these comics, and immediately they're like, yeah, no, we're throwing a lot of that out. New 52. I'm like, what? Then I'll just read the old stuff. Didn't they
New
screw over
52.
Huntress in the New 52? They gave her like a weird suit and her and
They screwed
Powergirl.
over everybody except Batman in New 50. Well, they
They
even
screwed
kind of
Tim
screwed
Drake
him over.
over.
I know. I mean, they had like two good Batman stories in New 52, but other than that, the whole thing is just garbage. And I got a bunch of kids on TikTok like
Oh, they think they
chanting.
know everything. And then
I
you bring a
know.
basic like you've never read a comic. I'm like I've seen people be like top 5 X-Men stories and there's like no Claremont stories and they go, I don't know who that is. I'm like,
How can you not talk Claremont?
yeah,
How? I don't understand it. He is one of the greatest comic writers of all time, if not the greatest. I can't process that whatsoever. But I had a Supergirl stream the other day, and I always post my shorts across platforms, and one of them
mhm,
is TikTok. And that's all I do on TikTok. I don't do anything else. I'm 45. I don't play on TikTok.
yeah.
And these kids are having a field day in my comment section. They're like, have you even read Woman of Tomorrow? Like, do you smoke paint chips? What did I just say? I said, clearly, this is not an adaptation. This is simply an inspiration because she's nothing like Supergirl and Woman of Tomorrow in this trailer. And every single stupid comment in that section is, have you read Woman of Tomorrow?
I've
Have you
gotten
read
that
Woman of
too.
Tomorrow? Have you read Woman of Oh God, shut up.
And they go,
I'm like,
have you
oh my
read?
gosh,
Well,
no.
they'll say, have you read the comic? No, I haven't. I've actually heard good things about One of Tomorrow. I'll have to check it out.
It's
But my
I
whole
like the
point
book.
was, I did not like how Supergirl was at the end of Superman. And let's say, I don't know if she's like that alcoholic, whatever, in Woman of Tomorrow, but I was like, that's not the Supergirl I know. Was my
It's
point.
not.
And they were like,
It's not.
you've never read the comics. I have. The Supergirl I knew wouldn't call Clark a bitch. She died for him in Crisis.
Exactly.
She loved him. Because she was sent to protect him. She would be
No.
concerned. She wouldn't be off getting drunk. That's the Supergirl I know. But apparently, you got like, I'll never understand that. When I first got into comics, I was like, I want to learn from the masters that came before me. I want to know the history that led up to now.
Mhm.
But
And that's what I do on my channel, is I explain the whole history. And I did that for Supergirl, including Woman of Tomorrow. I've read Woman of Tomorrow. And in that book,
Did you like
she
it?
is simply, I did like Woman of Tomorrow.
Okay.
And Nandrew is going to have a field day on me because it was written by Tom King, but it wasn't just written by Tom King. There were other people who wrote it. But she simply goes to a red sun solar system to get hammered for her 21st birthday. That's why she went. That was it. She is still Kara Zor-El. She still loves and adores her cousin. She feels a little bit of pressure for being in his shadow. She feels very sad and a lot of grief and trauma for watching Krypton explode and then watching Argo City destroyed 2 years later and losing her entire family. But she carries that with grace. And this young woman, Ruthie, who's traveling with her, it's her story. She's the one telling the story. She lost her family, and she learns from Supergirl how to deal with all of this stuff. She learns the right way how to deal with it by watching Supergirl and how she handles all the crap she's dealt with in her life. What they've done in this film is, one, they've aged her up a couple of years, which, I mean, whatever, that's nitpicking, but they've turned it around to where she's jaded, she's bitter, she doesn't want to be a hero, she's running away, she's hiding, she's just going on a pub crawl all over the galaxy, and these little idiots on TikTok are just telling me that clearly I didn't read the book. And I was
have
like,
you read any comics? It's like, yes, probably more than you.
But I'm a girl, what do I know? And I'm on TikTok talking about it. So obviously I've not read anything. And it's been, for the last 2 days, I just can't even open it because my inner Karen wants to rip them to shreds. So I've just stopped answering any comments on TikTok because I'm Ron Swanson in Home Depot. I know more than you.
Yeah, I'd argue there are far more than 2 good Batman stories. Yeah, I've been told to read that run. But I'll save that for another time. Yeah, I do need to get back to reading more. Yeah, Dave Brink, by the way, Perfect 10 is one of my favorite indie comics. If you guys haven't checked that out, you should. But let's talk about your stuff. So who are your favorite writers and what were your biggest inspirations when it came to making your book? Let's talk about your book.
Well, Chris Claremont is definitely one of my all-time favorite writers. Chuck Dixon is an amazing writer, obviously. I gotta give props to my girl, Carol Brown. Carol Brown is an incredible writer, and she was a huge help with polishing this comic. Bo DeMaio, he is the writer of X-Men 97.
I know. Brilliant.
He is a good friend of mine, and when I told him what I was doing, this man, I have them right here. Let me show you what this man did.
I've been on a show with him, and before I'd even watched the 90s, or no, I'd seen the first episode, and he's I'd love to get back in contact with him.
He's decided that he is also my writing teacher now. So he sent me this. It's called Words for Pictures by Brian Michael
I gotta
Bendis.
read that.
This is an incredible book, and it is definitely Words for Pictures. So there's that one. He sent me The Writer's Journey, Mythic Structure for Writers. This is a heavy one. We're supposed to be doing this one together by Christopher Vogler. And this one I've already been through. It's by John Gardner, The Art of Fiction. And then there was an Audible one that he sent me. It's called From Where You Dream. And that one that one just turned everything on its head for me. He has been a massive, massive inspiration for me. And I can't tell you how many times I've shot him a text and said, hey man, sorry, my hair is in the way. Say, hey, what do you think of this line? How does this play? And he'll shoot something back, like not rewrite it for me, but he'll ask me a question like Caro does as an editor, and just pushes my creative boundaries more. So I had some amazing, actual inspiration while I was writing the script for this. And I could not be more grateful.
That's awesome. That's great. Bo's someone I'd love to get in contact with, but his stuff is just, he's great with X-Men 97. I was like, oh, this is a cash grab. This is whatever. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my God. Like,
listen,
he knows his stuff.
He does. He is incredibly passionate about his work, about comics, about X-Men. He's been on my show twice. He was on the show the other day, Thursday. So yesterday, that's the other day. He was on yesterday. My hair is doing weird things now because of that. Try this. So you should definitely check that out because he talks about that a lot. And then he was on my show. I did a straight up interview with him last year. Highly recommend it.
Hold on. Sorry, you got quieter for a second.
Oh.
No.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my mic's starting to act funny. He was on the show yesterday, and he was on my channel last year. I did a straight up interview with him, and he goes really into depth on his process, how much he loves the X-Men, how much he loves writing. He actually told some stories about some incidents, like, oh, we were doing this and then this happened and da. But I highly recommend them. I'm not saying this as like, hey, go watch my channel. I'm saying if you are a fan of Beau DeMaio, or if you're the opposite, if you think you just disgusted by Beau DeMaio, I really think you should go watch those because it will change your mind. He is a lovely, warm human being who is a genuine fan. He is a massive nerd, and he's insanely talented. He has worked on not just X-Men 97, which is what he's really known for, but he worked on Star Trek Strange New Worlds until like season 2. He worked on The Witcher until season 2. In fact, Henry Cavill begged for him to come back, and he was like, no, I'm working on X-Men 97 now. He's worked on the originals. And basically, I looked at the pattern. Like, I went on IMDb, confirmed all of it. And after he left a project, it went
downhill.
Downhill.
That's why X-Men 97, like season 2, I'm like, we'll see.
I'm just going to say this about X-Men 97 season 2.
Oh man.
Not going to be the same.
Yeah, I could bet. So let's go over to your stuff. So now you've had all these years of comics and you finally decided to make a comic. So let's go ahead. Do you want me to play this video or do you want to just keep talking?
You go ahead and play the video if you want. I think it's a great video.
All right.
Go ahead and play it. It's only like a minute.
Hi, my name is Dani Soncasie, and I am the writer and creator of Veiled Legacy. Veiled Legacy is a comic I am working on now, but it's actually adapted from a book I published 20 years ago called One Foot in Darkness. Right now, we're working on funding Book 1, Midwest Gothic. And this story, let me tell you, has got a lot of bite. Midwest Gothic takes place when a rural Midwestern family's act of kindness leads to an unnatural home invasion, leaving Emma Hogan to survive the night alone as her twin brother Jimmy races against the clock to save his family from forces unknown before they're lost forever. Basically, two Amish vampires show up at the house and raise all kinds of hell. It's got gore, it's got suspense, it's got everything I love about classic vampire stories. The greater world of Veiled Legacy is already mapped out and ready to go. I just need the funding to keep going further. This is an expansive world including Greek mythology, magic, monsters, and a weaponized prosthetic leg that James Bond would probably sell his Aston Martins for. You can help make this comic book a reality at fundmycomic.com. We have 4 different tiers for donations, and each one comes with its own physical reward to say thank you so much for your support. You can follow us there. You can also support us at patreon.com/comicsand, where we do have a lot of exclusive behind the scenes details for the entire creative process. So make sure you follow us in both places and on all the socials at Comics and to keep up with the latest news on Veiled Legacy. Until then, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you out there.
That's
All
pretty
right.
much it. That's it.
Looks good.
Thank you. And
right.
those were just the sketches we had at the time. As you can see, we've got concept art now. Evan is working on 3 pages right now. We have one that's completed that I put on the page as an update. I don't know if you're able to get to the updates. I mean, I did make it public so people could see them. And it's one of, from what I've heard from the reviews and stuff I've gotten, like Andrew, I keep forgetting that no one else knows who I'm talking about when I call him Nandrew.
Wouldn't it
But
be
Andrew, it's Nandrew, okay? It's Nandrew. We call him Nandrew. He has reviewed it for me, and him and a few other people told me that this page, it's page 12. Yes, page 12 is one of their favorite pages because I have this transition back and forth where we have Emma, because it's a set of twins, Emma and Jimmy. Emma is still at the house during the home invasion, and Jimmy has stormed out that he had a fight with their father. So he left earlier in the night, went to a party at a friend's house. And while she's dealing with what's going on at the house, he's at this party and he starts experiencing like this weird kind of sense of panic, like what's going on. But it's really, they're developing this kind of empathic connection. Like stuff starts happening. Wait a minute, we've never experienced this before. Like we're twins and everything, but we've never had any kind of psychic connection before. But it starts kicking in. And so it starts flipping back and forth between Jimmy at the party and Emma at the house. And it's connected through what's going on. Like the sounds at the party, like people going, oh, like cheering and stuff, that bleeds over into the next panel where it's actually screams of agony. And then that moves into the next panel of Jimmy at the party. And he's like, oh, what the shit? Why am I suddenly panicking? He's grabbing his chest and dropping a beer, like, holy crap. And his friend's like, okay, here's another one. Don't drop this one. Like, what's going on with you? But it's a really cool panel. I'm pretty proud of it. Evan Scale is an incredible artist who brought this to life. And we decided that would be one of the best pages to show people, to showcase the book itself. So we're working on that one. We're working on our first splash page, which, you know what, I'm just going to, can I send it to you? It's, I have the line work for it, but it doesn't have color yet. But it's just so badass and so cool that I have to show you guys. I have to show someone because it's so freaking cool. Oh, here it is. Yay. All right, here it is. This should give you guys a good idea of what I am really about in this comic. And this is
How'd you
just,
send it to me?
I sent it in Twitter.
Oh, Turner. Okay, cool.
Is that okay?
Yeah, Twitter's fine.
Okay, awesome.
Actually easier. Oh
I was
wow,
hoping that.
that's
Yeah.
wait, is that which page is this?
This is page 14.
Okay, this is gorgeous. Hold on, gorgeous in a morbid way.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah.
So, because we've gotten into details, but what is this book about?
Well, so let me try to put this into words. Like I said, I'm better with a keyboard. It's about a family that, they're at home and there's a argument. The boy, Jimmy, storms off. And during family movie night, there's a knock at the door. And it's a couple of Amish dudes. Their buggy broke down. Go figure. So their buggy breaks down. And the dad, of course, Midwestern guy, super happy to help, lets them in. Turns out they're vampires. The vampires kill everyone except Emma, who hides. Oh yeah, Evan is amazing. He's absolutely amazing. He doesn't think he's oh, that's right. Cosmortal read it for me too.
Oh, yeah?
He was yelling at the characters. So Emma hides all night long while Jimmy's trying to get home. But there seems to be some kind of supernatural force that's driving Emma and Jimmy along. Emma starts feeling these jolts and she can't really explain them. And Jimmy has these weird kind of interactions while he's trying to walk towards the house. He was drunk, so his friend wouldn't let him drive. His friend's like, "You're insane. There's nothing going on. You're just drunk." He wouldn't give him a ride home, so he's ended up having to walk across town. And when Jimmy gets back to the house, he finds his sister laying in the middle of the side yard with her right foot ripped off, bleeding out. And I see this series, this first story, as a 10-book arc. Emma Hogan is a superhero. She's a super powered vampire hunter with a weaponized prosthetic leg. The leg itself has a stake launcher, like there's a hatch that pops out with a stake launcher, iron spikes that come out of the shin, a toe knife that comes out. Jimmy is an engineer, so he makes all of these things for her. And it's just the two of them left behind. They're stuck here, but there was a lot more going on that was kept from them, from their parents. It seems their parents may have known about all of this stuff and kept that from them. I'm trying to be so political about this without spoiling literally everything, because it's so much bigger than just a vampire hunter series. It's so much bigger. There is this huge, enormous world that gets revealed to them throughout this night. So it starts off with, like, this is just the opening salvo. This is just like the first punch in the face. This huge home invasion, this brutal disaster that happens and seems to destroy their lives, actually is just like, guess what? Everything is a lie. Absolutely everything is a lie. Like, you have no idea who you really are and where you really came from. This all actually goes back to 450 ancient Greece, 450 BCE ancient Greece.
Damn,
It's a
that's
lot.
crazy. Yeah, so it sounds like there's a lot going on here. And what's the page count people can expect from the first book?
The first book is 42 pages.
Gotcha. All right, that's good. And so question with the book. So the book's title was, remind me.
Book 1 is Veiled Legacy,
Right.
Midwest Gothic.
But the book that you did years ago, is that also called Veiled Legacy?
No, that one's called One Foot in Darkness.
So why
And
the
this
name
one,
change?
well, because okay. So when I wrote this, I was a baby. Well,
Mhm.
I was 24. No, yeah.
Okay.
I was 24. And I'd never written anything before. I had just given birth to my third child, and I'm pretty sure the publisher was a front for a money laundering scheme because I didn't get an editor or anything.
That's
And
not
it was a mess. It was a mess. And there's still like errors in this. And when I said I want to name it like Forsaken or this, they're like, no, we're gonna call it Vampire Slayer, One Foot in Darkness. And I said, I hate that. Hey, I hate it so much. It is corny and stupid. And they're like, well, that's what we're naming it. So that's what it got named, and I hated it.
so this, you kind of taking back the reins and doing it again?
I'm taking back the reins, and I've been telling people that I want you to consider this first draft. This is more like the seed, and Veiled Legacy is the tree.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Because the entirety of book 1, Midwest Gothic, is maybe grown from 2 pages in chapter 1 of One Foot in Darkness.
Gotcha.
Like it's like I had like one conversation with Caro, and the whole thing just kind of went everywhere.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
I
mean, it can
you're
be
an
amazing.
editor.
Yeah.
You're an editor, and a good editor will help a writer in a way that a director will help an actor.
Yeah. You have to kind of like, I prod with the question, because I've done directing too. I majored in film. You have to like prod to get them to kind of go where they want to go. You can't just write it for them. Be like, well, here's my idea. I could throw you an idea occasionally, but it's like normally that's what I tend to do. Is it's like, oh, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want your story to be? What are you trying to say? And then I help them get there.
Well, I will say the Amish vampires were her idea.
That's
because
cool.
when I wrote this, it was like 2004. So a couple of douchey guys breaking down and needing a phone, that wasn't too out of the ordinary. That wouldn't have been so unheard of. But in 2026, that would have been super weird. Like, no, I'm not letting you in. Why do you need a phone? Why don't you have one? Kind of situation. So she was like, what if they're Amish? And I'm like, wait, it is Southeast Missouri. There is a pretty decent Amish community here. Holy crap, that's genius. So it just kind of expanded from there. And every time I talk to people about it, they're like, I have never heard of an Amish vampire before. I'm like, I know. It's fantastic. I love it so much. And then we've got little Easter eggs. Like, I'm currently finishing up the script for book 2, which is called The Gospel of Layla Fellows, who is the third member of the main protagonists, the little triumvirate. And there's little Easter eggs. She's in a truck and the radio's playing and they're talking about missing members of the Amish community. And I just giggle.
That's awesome. That's great. So we got, that sounds really cool. And do you have any? So you mentioned like your inspiration. Like, what are some comparables that you'd have?
Oh, definitely Buffy. If I said that there was no inspiration from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I would be lying to you. There's definitely some inspiration from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Definitely Constantine. I love Constantine. I love Midnight Mass. Sinners. There's
Sinners is
definitely.
great.
I love monstrous vampires.
Mhm.
I hate Twilight. I hate it with
They're not
every
even vampires.
fiber.
They're in the sunlight. They
They're not
sparkle.
even vampires. My vampires follow the 3 F's. They fight, they feed, and they
Yeah.
okay. They do all those things. What vampires are supposed to do. And when they go to feed, they turn into those things. And kind of like there's a little bit of Vampire Hunter D in it too. When they go to transform, because they look like normal humans up until the point that they're going to feed. Cosmortal Comics.
Yeah.
Uh, um, their skin shreds off of them like, Vampire Hunter D with the werewolves, come out of their human skin. It shreds off of them. I talked to Evan about it. I was like, that's what I want. I want them to just kind of like tear out of their skin, like they're growing out of it. They're mutated. They're disgusting on the inside. I want it to kind of reflect how evil and twisted they are internally. I want that to be physical. I want that to really come through. So, and I want them to smell bad. I want them to smell like bad breath, because if you drink blood, like if that's what you live off of, I mean, have you ever smelled someone that has a bad tooth? That's rotting blood in their mouth. It smells like actual poop.
Mm.
It smells like shit.
Yeah, no, the
So-
vampires, I'm like, they're corpses. They're gross. Like vampires.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not opposed to seeing attractive characters at all, but I'm like, but they're like walking corpse. I mean, they're not like zombies bad, but they're like Nosferatu. He's like gross.
Yeah. That's what I wanted. Like, I want them to have that kind of, be able to lure their prey in. Like, look, I look kind of pretty, don't I? I look normal. Look at me. But when they go to feed, they can't hide it anymore.
I was writing a short story. My friend wants to do a comic adaptation. I was having a similar conversation. It was a succubus related. And like, oh, well, this is supposed to be sexy. I'm like, no, my vision, the way like it's been described. I was talking to someone who worked with the Warrens, the Conjuring people, and they were saying that no, like they disguise themselves and once they're in that position, then they're this unholy, disgusting horror, and that's why they're scary. Is because they're like the opposite of what they actually like.
What you're talking about is actually something out of Greek mythology that I am using in my book. No, you're talking about Impusa. Impusa is actually, I'm just going to say it. She's kind of like the main antagonist in my series.
Oh, wow.
So you see that my protagonist, she's an
spelled?
amputee. EMPUSA.
Oh, that's why nothing was coming up.
Haha. So, my main character, my hero, is an amputee. And I came across this almost on accident. And when I saw the description of Impusa, I was like, holy crap, this is totally meant to be. This is kismet. So Impusa is kind of a vampiric character in Greek mythology. She was a shapeshifter. She could resemble a beautiful, seductive woman, but her normal, like her actual visage, she had flames for hair and eyes, the body of a woman, and she had one leg of a donkey because that was considered the symbol of being highly sexualized, and her other leg was made of bronze. And when I saw that, I was like, dude, I need that in my story. I need that because I need my character to get that leg.
I love
She
that kind of
needs-
stuff, and I love like
Yeah.
cryptids. I have lists of just of that of mythology. I noticed
Well-
there's always so many like like even when you brought up Greek mythology, I noticed there's like an enchantress.
I am
shapeshifter.
fascinated. I have been fascinated. That sounded so midway. I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated with Greek mythology, and I have been since I was 7 years old. So all
Me
of
too.
this, my story has started with the Greek goddess Hecate, she's the goddess of magic, crossroads, thresholds, all that stuff. And I'm gonna write all of this in a prequel novel. But she started all of this in 450 BCE, Piraeus, Greece. She kind of inadvertently started the vampires, the hunters, and something called the Brotherhood of Abraxas all in the same night. Now, if you've heard of the Talamasca or the Watchers or anything, that's kind of my Watchers or Talamasca, the Brotherhood of Abraxas. And Impusa in my story, and in some Greek mythology, is the daughter of Hecate. And she was being a very bad girl. She was becoming too voracious for Hecate. She was kind of, instead of just devouring the blood and flesh of these men, she was devouring their souls and stealing souls from her mother Hecate, so Hecate couldn't escort them through the crossroads to the afterlife. So Hecate was like, "You're bad. I'm, cursing you. You cannot shapeshift, and I'm not going to allow you to devour souls anymore." So stuff ensues, and I don't want to spoil anymore, but Impusa, thousands of years later, becomes the antagonist in my story. And I want my character to get that leg. I want her to have that magical bronze leg so she can be like, "Whoa."
That's cool. That's really cool. So we got I mean this looks awesome. And
Thank
how
you.
far along are we at the start of this campaign?
I've got 690 on Fund My Comic, 350 on Kickstarter. So about 1,000 out of my 7,000 that I need.
But how many pages into the book are
Oh,
we?
I've got 3 pages. 3 pages. Evan's working on 3 right now, and then I've got 3 more ready for him to go. So 31 more to go.
Gotcha. So when are you anticipating that this gets out to backers?
I wanted to get out to backers like by the end of this year or
Mhm.
beginning of next year. As soon as I have the money to do
Right.
it, I'm giving it to Evan and saying, "Get to work, bitch."
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
That's how it is. Yeah, no, that's
Like,
important.
this is I can't do this fast enough. I have been waiting my whole life to make my own comic book, and I have been waiting 22 years to make this comic book. I put everything aside in this arena to raise my kids. That's what I needed to do. I'm not sad about that. I don't regret that. I need to
Right.
make that very clear. That's what needed to be done. It wasn't about me anymore. I needed to do that. But
Mhm.
now I get to. So I've waited 22 years. I'm ready to do it. I have nothing else that I want to do but make this comic book. Every time I get a spare buck, it goes into the Veiled Legacy account. Every single time. That's what I do. And every time I have money stacked, I email Evan. Like, "What you doing, Evan? Hi. How you doing? Wanna do some arts?" Like, you do. Kara said you do lettering too. Like, want to do the lettering? And he's like, "I can recommend some lettering, but if you really want, no, I want you to do it. Mm-mm. Let's get moving. Come on, chop, 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 chop." But as soon as I have the money to make a completed comic book, backers are getting this comic book.
Awesome. All right, that's what I like to hear, and I think that's what most backers like to hear too. So everyone make sure to check this out. If you have any questions, what's the best way for people to reach out? We got a signed one. So
Mhm.
this is signed by you? and personalized signature for 50.
Yes.
And we've got the blood donor. We've
Donor.
got blood bag. And we've got name drops. So even just $1, every little bit you do helps out.
Yes. So I keep telling people, like, just $1 helps this thing happen. Just $1 can help this
Now, do we have a cover?
woman. No, not yet. Like, this just started rolling. I'll tell you a sad story. Like, I wrote the first script like a couple of years ago, and I had this artist, and he ghosted me. Like, I was devastated. I thought, all right, Lord, maybe this is just
that happens.
way
I've dealt with that. Then they've come around. But it's often artist types. You just have to. They're not. It's not always personal. Sometimes it is. You're like, you know what, man? But like sometimes it's like they throw their artists the tantrums or whatever, and you just got to go.
It would have been nice if he just would have
told you.
And because I sent him. Because I didn't know anything about making a comic, anything. And I sent him a copy. I only had 2 copies of my own personal book, and I sent this to him. And then I didn't hear anything back. Like, I wrote the script out. I sent that to him. I sent the book, and he said, "Hey, I've got some sketches going for you, and I'll get back to you." And I said, "Okay." Check in with him. He's like, "I'm going to get it to you in a couple of days." Okay. And then I never heard anything again. And I would check in, and I finally said, "All right, dude, I'm moving on. Like, this is a little hurtful, and I kind of wish you'd send me my book back, but it's whatever." So I just wish he would have said, "Sorry, I got life stuff," or what, any of that stuff. But I kind of took that as a sign from God that, you kind of missed your boat. That's okay. You've got these other things going on. And then I happened to be on the same stream as Caro and Igor and Eric Hodson. And Caro and I hit it off, and we were talking the next day. And I was asking her like 1,000 million bajillion questions about making a comic book. And she's like, "Send me your script." I was like, "Okay." So I sent it to her. She said, "We need to meet." And we did. And the first thing she said was, "For someone who claims they have no idea what they're doing, you are off to a hell of a start." And I wrote that down in my notebook and circled it and underlined it and almost started crying. I was like, "What is happening?" So that was back in, I want to say the end of December of last year. And that was just, it's just been a few months. And we've gotten this much movement so far. I would like to see more, but I am an impatient cow. And I want it done now. You see, I want it done now.
Yeah, no, I get it. So I definitely like covers go a long way and interior pages. I think that's probably why some of the hesitation, but it sounds to me like you definitely want to get this made, and you need everything you can get for that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd love to do a cover. I need to talk to him about that. Like, "Hey, Evan, you got any ideas for a cover?"
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think this looks like sounds like it's going to be a really solid book. I'm a writer first, so to me, I don't need to see I've seen enough of the art to be sold.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, a lot of people are very visual. And I think that's one of the difficulties is like, because as a writer, I'm like, I can listen to someone talk and I'm like, all right, this is a writer or this isn't. This is someone who understands storytelling or this isn't. And this definitely sounds like a really interesting story. And I think a lot of people will resonate with this. I noticed there's a lot of good like horror fantasy stuff. The Gothic too, Midwest Gothic sounds cool. I was in the Midwest finally. Well, hang on.
Yeah?
Kentucky's the Midwest, right? Or no? Or is it the South? You all bleed together from New Jersey.
Oh, wow. You know what? That I'll trade insults then. My father once said to me, "Dani, if you do one thing for me in your whole life, never go to New Jersey."
I get it all the time. I get it all the time.
I talked to Fabian Nicieza a couple years ago, and he's like, "Why?
New Jersey's beautiful. I'm like, yeah, for you, baby. You probably live in a beautiful part of New Jersey. You could afford to.
Yeah,
It's
well,
called the Garden State for a reason, I'm
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's nowhere. It's not. It's their garden somewhere. I'm sure it was the Garden State.
No, I live in Southeast Missouri, and I know that the entire rest of the country thinks that we are just cows and really doesn't have much of a clue what Missouri is like because that's how Hollywood portrays us. And that's fine. You keep thinking that. You keep thinking that. Everyone stay over there. We'll keep enjoying our quiet, low taxes, and cheap housing.
Yeah, no, that's when I was in like some of those like in Kentucky, I'm like, oh my God, like things are actually like a reasonable price. This is
Oh,
great.
it's even cheaper here.
Oh man. No,
You
I'm
should
liking I
come
was
to.
liking it.
We have a Wizard Con and Arch Con,
All right.
and you should do that.
Send me the details on those. I'd have to
We'll do.
Yeah, I want to go to I'm trying to go to as many shows as I can this year. Within reason, But I'm doing a lot. And yeah, I've got some more coming on.
Man, I respect it. Listen, I have to drive left-footed because my right leg is fake and I can't feel the pedal and it twists my back. I can't do long trips like that. So I totally effing respect the hell out of it. Like,
Thank you.
yes. And I still have a 17-year-old at home.
I get it. That's a lot of response. See that I'm doing it before I have responsibilities.
Let me tell you something. You've mentioned your mom a couple times. Said you went and you got your mom's car. I don't know who she is. I know nothing else about her, and I love her. She sounds like an amazing, amazing mom.
She is. She is.
Good for her.
If she liked the stream earlier from Facebook, so if she's still watching, Mom.
She did. Oh, hi, Mom. Hi, Vaughn's mom.
I don't know if she's still
You're
watching.
doing an
She's probably
amazing
like,
job.
This is too nerdy for me, but well, no, who knows? Yeah, no, this is great. This looks really solid, and
Thank you.
I think everyone should be able to check this out. Where's the best places people can follow you for more?
You can follow me on Twitter at comics_. You can follow me. I mean, seriously, find a social media platform and type in comics and you will find me.
Yeah.
If you go to comics-and.com, that's my website, all of my links are there. There's information about me, my podcast, my comic book, my special effects work, everything. It's there on that website, comics-and.com.
All right. So everyone check that out. I have all those links, but now they're all in the description, by the way, guys. But yeah, make sure to check all that out. And anything else you want to bring up before we close out?
Thank you so much. I'm just really grateful that you had time for me, Vaughn. I really appreciate it.
Of course. All right.
Do you want to read it?
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
All right. As soon as I have the time, I definitely. Oh, that reminds me. I have like someone else I have to check on it too. So thank you. That's a good reminder.
You're welcome.
I'll do that. All right. I write 1 million Post-its a day. It's really bad.
I love Post-its, and Carol makes fun of me. She says, you need a tablet. So she gave me a tablet. Yeah. And then I still write down on Post-its, and she's like, I gave you a tablet.
It doesn't matter. There's something about the physical matters. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. I'm going to be bringing this show back. I have a list of some guests in mind. I'm just sorting some stuff out, making sure we have everything ready for issue 4 and all that good stuff. So keep an eye on my channel though, and my launch party. I'm going to double check and make sure everything's shipped out, because obviously I'm not launching issue 4 if issue 3 is not shipped out. So keep an eye out for that. And as always, thank you guys so much. Check out my first 3 issues on my website, and all my stuff is on there, including some free short horror stories that are going to be in a short story collection. And we also got the issue 4 campaign. All those links down below. Peace out, guys. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.
My name is Miles Hanksley. I am Galvanite. My names are synonymous with failure because that's all they know. They don't know how hard I've worked since the reactor. Today, I will prove that I'm not a failure. I am worthy of joining Phenomenova.